A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twinflame Union. In this particular session, I would be talking about the Divine Masculine, understanding the concept of divine timing. Because the Divine Masculine's programming is such that even though he had certain inkling toward spirituality or other dimensions or the fact that we are a soul, he was programmed in such a way that he wanted to deny everything. And divine timing is one of those things which he was in denial of. Like how two people meet, how two people come close together. He thought that human beings have some kind of control over all these things. But actually, genuinely, we don't. Because our lives are predestined. Everything is pre-planned. Every single day is predestined. Every single day is pre-planned. We just have to live through it and observe it. What ascension does to us is that we observe it with gratitude. Even if something bad happens to us, we know that that is also leading to something uplifting, something that is going to add on to our experience of ascension. So we have more gratitude and we, live our lives every day, day by day, in acceptance, in acknowledgement and observation mode. So how does the Divine Masculine find out this thing, or how does he learn this thing, is what I'm going to share in this particular session, the energy of this session. Because obviously you all know by now that this can only be possible when on the other side, the Divine Feminine has made this understanding, or this thing has been revealed to her also by experience. Only thing is, they are both in different types of worlds, different departments. One is in matrix reality, one is in spiritual warfare or spiritual reality. But both are doing mental work. If you don't resonate with this channeling is specifically for people who are in final stages. And people, you can say, have either they are towards the end of surrender stage and they are now stepping into illumination, or they have already stepped into illumination. So if you don't resonate with it, then that means you need to do a little bit of more work to not get triggered by this information, or feel very warm and positive and you feel very profound listening to something. It means that this particular challenge or barrier, either you have crossed it or you are in the process of going through it or crossing it. For personal readings, guidance on dream interpretation, counseling and therapies, please go through the description box first, and once you are sure, then write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com. When it comes to Twinflame intuitive readings, I prefer not knowing anything about your journey before the reading, so that we can get the best and most accurate answers during the reading. But in case of therapies, you have to share with me different facets of your life so that we can heal the wounded inner child, which then leads to a 5D union. You can also get my book In the Name of Love, which has 5 channeled twin flame stories, very inspiring, uplifting stories. You have good amount of energy in it, based on the journey of finding your ultimate soulmate on your earth life. Connect with me on Instagram at the Sunamoon Goddess, and you can also subscribe to the Sunamoon vlogs to get interesting content that supports the ascension lifestyle. Yes, ascension is a lifestyle. So, in this particular session, what is happening is that the Divine Masculine is having certain types of experiences on a daily basis or on a regular basis, where he feels that an invisible energy, an invisible power is taking him closer and closer to the Divine Feminine, as if he is understanding her better without even being around her. If some of you are in separation mode, or you think in your head that you're in separation mode, let me tell you, in my work, I speak to a lot of twin flame couples who are in different types of formats. Like they could be married, living under the same roof, doing ascension work. They could be married but got separated after marriage, after being married. Or they decided to do their own thing. So they are committed with each other. There is no karmic scenario over here, but they are still figuring things out in terms of their mission work, their presence on earth. So they have made a commitment to each other. Now either it could be a personal commitment or it could be a public commitment. But they got into that situation like, yes, you are the only person I love and you're the only person I want. And I'm not going to be with anyone else, be rest assured. Both have made this commitment with each other. Or they came to this conclusion after being in separation for a while and they realized that technically I love only this person. I'm not physically aroused by someone else, or I don't even feel like spending my time with someone else. But there are certain things that we both like to do our own way. We both like to do it in certain ways, certain things. It's something that we naturally flow towards. But that natural flow becomes an obstruction in each other's lifestyles. They could be having some kind of job profile where, one person is living in another state or another country, or their area of interest could be such. One could be living in the nighttime producing music, someone is a music producer or some kind of creative work, and the other is in a typical corporate scenario. So their lifestyles don't, sustain that, and they don't even want to disturb each other. They don't even want to leave what they love because they have done it in the past, especially with feminine. She must have in some other relationships or living with her narcissistic family. She must have tried to, live a life that she did not want to live. But with ascension, she got the confidence, she healed her root chakra, she's an independent person, she's able to take care of many things. So she's like, this is something that I've achieved after a long time, and this is also a part of my ascension work. So I cannot let it go. So they are both trying to somehow make it work, but they are committed to each other. Most important thing is commitment. Nothing else matters. In the twin flame journey, another reason why the feminines and the masculines gravitate towards each other is after a whole round of or many rounds of runner and chaser dynamic, even the feminine realizes, first this change comes in feminine only, that I have a life of my own. I have my own life. What is wrong with me? Why am I constantly chasing him? Anyone who chases anyone, like even if you have certain family members, learn it like that. Some cousins or some friends who constantly call you or message you. If you don't pick up, they'll say, please talk to me, please talk to me, please answer my phone. How do you feel? It's very annoying, right? Natural communication is the most idealistic communication which flows on its own. Another thing that is common in twin flame journey is that there is a very obvious separation between each other, which means two people, which people call it as no contact in the community. That another aspect that people have not been talking to each other. They had a big fight, they ignored each other, or they don't want to talk to each other. At first it was masculine who ignored her. Secondly, then the feminine also realized that I don't want to get back with him now. I'm done with this. And both of them are in that phase where they don't want to speak to each other, but they hold a very special position for each other in their hearts and in their minds, because they have now started surrendering. This will not happen before surrender. Till the time there's runner-chaser dynamic, they'll keep fighting with each other, they'll keep running, coming, that will go on. It is during surrender only when you realize that no matter what you do, you keep coming back to this person. And you don't mind it anymore. There was a time when you would be irritated with it. This happens most with the divine masculine. He gets very irritated with her thoughts and anything that reminds him of her. He doesn't like it. He wants to escape it or avoid it. Or anything that reminds him of unconditional love. He wants to debate against it. He wants to argue against it. He gets very triggered with it. But the more work is done, the more he feels now it's alright. I was being very difficult too. And on the other hand, the divine feminine also understands this. That even I was chasing him too much. I had no life of my own. I put him on the pedestal like a trophy statue or something, and I would keep admiring him. There was a kind of obsession in my behavior. And this obsession is always unhealthy because it makes you codependent. Now, how both of them are coming to this conclusion that everything is divine timing? Divine feminine, first of all, needs to understand the way she looks at separation. That has to change. Otherwise, it's very difficult to cross surrender stage, very difficult to reach stage 6 of illumination. If you're going to continue looking at it like that, you have to see that if we would not have gone our own ways, she did not have a choice, by the way, because he did some things, took some steps, some actions of his, a clear message to her that don't bother me. And now, with time, she will understand that this is also a part of divine timing. Because if he would not have done that, she would not have bothered to do any inner work. She would not have bothered to fix it. She would not have felt bad that she is not his first choice. She is not his first priority. And he himself, if you ask him, he would say this to any other person who would know about their companionship or about their love or whatever. He would say that she is my first choice even now. Even as I speak, she is my first choice. It's very difficult to be with her. It's very difficult to be with her. I cannot. And it's not like he's blaming her, but he's saying this overall scenario is like that. It's very difficult. He would say this many times to himself or to her or to someone else who he confides into, that I have experienced unconditional love for this person. But there are so many gaps and so many differences and so many triggers. Something or the other would, confuse me. I just want a simple life. I just want an easy life. I don't want no hang-ups and no drama. All this intensity, all this overflow of emotions, he cannot tolerate that. He doesn't like that. He wants to run away from it because this emotional energy, it kind of makes him very uncomfortable. He cannot face those arguments or those fights or those discussions. It makes him it takes him to a part of him which is full of rejection, which is full of suppression, which is full of lack of expression, where he feels that fighting or getting angry or pouring your heart out, or when someone shares that I went through this, I went through that, or someone is acting out. Like in childhood, he must have been trained to not act out, to not show if he's angry or sad or upset. So he tried to contain it. And she is being taught to also suppress it in many ways. But when it comes to him, she cannot control it because she has a fear of losing him. Through the twin flame ascension journey, the divine feminine and the masculines, they basically learn the law of universe. Universe does not work only on law of attraction, by the way. Some people think that there's only one law that you need to know, law of attraction. No. But similar to the law of attraction, there are other laws on which, there are principal laws on which Earth functions. There is not just one law is what I mean to say. There are 12 laws. And one by one, you're going to learn all 12 of them during this journey of twin flame. Number 1 law is the law of divine oneness. That's why you hear me say one love, one love, one love. Then we have the law of vibration. Then we have law of action. Then we have law of correspondence, which works on the principle of as above, so below. This is then followed by the law of cause and effect, which implies that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, or whatever we think is followed by a consequence, we reap what we have sown. There is law of compensation, which means that we get the visible effects of whatever deeds that are given to us. We have this very popular law of attraction, as we all know, which talks about how we create things in our lives, how we attract things. Positive energy attracts positive things, negative energy attracts negative things. This law has also gained popularity over the past few years, especially on the online community, because somehow it makes people feel that they have control on everything. But this is the only thing which I don't agree with when law of attraction or manifestation coaches talk about, how you can do this, how you can do that, how everything is in your control. How you feel is in your control. So you can definitely change how you feel. But everything other than that is predestined, and especially people who are in the ascension journey, I would say, or people who are in the twin flame journey, every single day of their life is predestined. In therapies also, one of the major work we do is to teach people or to help, handhold them on how to let go. People are not willing to let go, and that's why they are in pain and they are in suffering. They are not letting go of the trauma, they are not letting go of toxic relationships, they are not letting go of toxic habit patterns, they are not letting go of fears, they are not letting go of what public or social images. This is also the reason why I have always emphasized a lot on surrender, because by experience also I can say this, and by looking at the transformations and transitioning of other people, how we transmutate energy, is those who are not able to let go, they keep suffering. They are trapped in that spiral or that loop. And they also act it out during therapy sessions. I have seen a lot of them. Some of them don't even attend the sessions, because they know that they are getting triggered only because they've been asked to let go. They don't want to let go. They want to have all the control. They will behave very badly if you tell them that you need to let go. I mean, there is no other way of saying it. You can't be pleased on this. A lot of divine masculines have this problem. They don't want to let go of the control. Control makes them feel like, they are the ones who are managing their lives. But this twin flame journey is so brilliantly designed. They cannot deceive the universe. They cannot deceive anyone. Forget about deceiving themselves. Sooner or later, they come to this truth that they are not in control of their lives. But this truth is also experienced by the divine feminine, who has this anger towards destiny, towards God, towards the whole world, that why me, and this, blah, blah, blah. This and that I wanted to say, but I said this. This is very Indian way of speaking, actually. We like to repeat some of the words. So, in simple words, when divine feminine does not want to, stop blaming her destiny, God and universe and the whole world, of course, we all go through bad situations, and it's not easy to be in those situations. It's very hard. But when does she change? She also doesn't change easily. Both are very stubborn. Some people tell me that the divine masculine is very stubborn. The runner is very stubborn. But the chaser is not stubborn. I tell them, people, they are the same. You must be thinking they are two different people, but they are not. Both of them are equally stubborn in their own departments. One person doesn't want to let go of all the frustration, anger, all the bad experiences, all the pain. This is like holding too much to the pain, holding on to the pain, not letting it go. And the other person doesn't want to go near the pain only. So how are they different? They are both stubborn, and they have their own reasons to be stubborn. So divine feminine changes majorly during surrender, when she experiences unconditional love, and when she realizes that all the bad things have actually made her a much better person. It has helped her transform. She feels much better. During the runner-chaser dynamic, she feels horrible and she feels good. She feels great. And then she thinks that it probably is law of attraction, But law of attraction also works in your favor when you're able to control how you feel, or when you're able to manage how you feel. So the actual thing is not controlling your life. The actual thing is controlling your reactions, controlling all those other things, putting a stop to it by doing mental practice, doing deep mental practice. And this is the reason why many people tell me why my affirmations never work, why my this doesn't work. I am constantly thinking positive. I'm saying positive things the whole day, but still negative things are happening. So this law of attraction, this whole coaching cannot work in one video, 2 videos, or just reading a book. This has to happen when you are born very aware. When you took birth on planet Earth, you already had, your chakras were awakened. Some of the chakras were fully awakened, and in some cases, some were not that awakened, but still the soul was very awakened soul. Because in this life, somehow you are supposed to ascend. That's how the plan of your life is. And anybody who tells me that will union happen in this life or not, let me tell you, every single person out there who's in twin flame journey, who's in genuine twin flame journey, who's actually a twin flame, every single person is supposed to get into union in the same life. Which is why you won't be having any other life. You won't be born again. And twin flames not only inspire twin flame community, but with their lifestyle, they inspire a whole lot of people. Even those people who are not supposed to, reach salvation, or who's supposed to be reborn, they also look at them, and certain aspect of them changes them a lot. They want to become a better person, or they want to live healthy lifestyle, or they become less and less materialistic. So they get inspired by such people. They've been working their whole lives. For example, I can just explain it to you that there's a man. He wants to be always famous. He wants to be popular. So he spends 50 years of his life trying to do that. Now he's 50 years old. He's trying to look young. He's forcing himself to be the same again which he was in his youth and in his prime. He looks back at his youth and prime, and he thinks that I could have done this better, I could have done that better. So his whole focus is on how to get famous, or how to get popular, or how to get a name or recognition. He's not even willing to see that famous people can be murderers, famous people can be rapists, famous people can be extremely depressed, and famous people can also be extremely insecure, not content at all. That's the reason why they keep spending money. They have a machinery, they have a PR machinery, they have a yearly budget where they spend money to remain in the limelight, to remain, loved by people. What kind of love is this? This is very low frequency type of love. This type of low frequency never lets you be happy. You can never be in your natural state. But by chance, this person meets somebody who's in the twin flame journey or doing ascension work. And they look at their peace, they look at their contentment, they look at their let go attitude, they look at their whole personality, fearlessness, boldness, courageousness, and how they don't care a damn about how they are seen or liked or not liked, blah, blah, blah. And it has an impact, because you can't really harm such people also. Even if some people would like to go up to them and tell them that, hey, what do you know about life? But they can't do that, because they possess an aura. They possess some kind of protection, very strong protection from the masters. Master souls are always protecting people on this path. In childhood, you might have gone through some bad experiences, but if you look back, they were bad, but they were, they happened in such a way that they did not totally ruin you or harm you or end you over there. They just gave you what reality is, what earth is all about. Earth is not just about singing and dancing and a bed of roses. You are on planet Earth to do some serious work. You are not here for a holiday. This is not a vacation spot. And what do people do when they go on holidays and vacations? They are simply trying to escape their reality. Most people who are in holidays and vacation mode, they say, oh, I'm on vacation mode, I'm enjoying, I'm so happy, look at this mountain, nature everywhere, look at the beach. Nature is everywhere, any which way. You are also nature, because you're made of 5 elements. But these are the things that people don't want to accept and admit. But twin flame journey, so that's why we say you're not only here for yourself, but you're also here to have an impact on the earth beings who are lost, who are in darkness. Then we have the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And if you have noticed, some of you, if you have read my description box, there is a mention or there's a course where we do transmutation of energy. Now, I'm not marketing that course, but I'm just telling you that transmutation of energy means that there is always, every person has in them the power to change the conditions of their lives. Every person can do it. Every single person you can. Higher vibration can be created via lower vibrations. You could be operating in low vibes and you can change your life, you can change your energies, but you need to apply these principles, or at least you need to know about these principles or these law of universe. After this, we have law of relativity. You must have heard these phrases, these jargons or these talks. You must have done it, and I will share one link. I will share a link under this video so that you can open that link and you can go through all the different laws, all the 12 laws. Then we have, interestingly, the law of polarity. This is the law that we speak about. I have spoken about in many channelings. I have spoken about how universe makes things happen in the journey of divine masculine and feminine, which is based on this principle of polarity, right? You must have heard it if you have been regular on this channel. So then there is a law of rhythm, which means that everything vibrates and moves in a certain rhythm. You know, all the seasons, all the cycles. So it's a beautiful study. If you want, you can check out this link. Then we have the law of gender, which means every yin has its yang, yin and yang principles. So also it means that when you are an initiate, when you are in the spiritual journey, you also need to balance your masculine and feminine energies within yourself. And only then you can become a master and a true co-creator with God. I don't even use the word co-creator. I simply say you surrender. You are a servant of God. You are here to do God's work. That's it. God is, in Hindi we have this word Malik. Just Google it. He is the Malik of all Maliks. He's basically the boss of all bosses. How they have this show in India, Big Boss, But God is actually Big Boss. They've actually used this concept of how God watches over all its beings, and there is one teacher who corrects everyone every weekend. So they've actually copied this concept, but even they are not big bosses. They are just showmakers. They're just people. The real boss, we need to surrender to that real boss. So all of these laws work, and one by one, whether you know these phrases and terminologies or not doesn't matter. But by experience in this journey, in the twin flame journey, you will realize that everything works on the principle of divine timing. Your separation or your union. And some people are actually considering all these things in their heads only, in their own minds. So divine feminine will, in the previous channeling I spoke about this particular thing, that how in her head she imagines. She has those triggers and she imagines that the masculine is going to ill-treat her. But she's imagining it too much that she herself starts acting it out. And when she acts out the trigger, he gets triggered. He gets freaked out. And then she realizes her mistake. But it's not just realizing your mistake and letting go to God to fix it. No. She wants to fix it on her own. She wants to take control. And then he wants to take control because he doesn't like anyone else taking control. So how everything is related to one another. How it's working. All of these 12 principles work. So every single day when you are experiencing unconditional love, when you're actually doing well in this journey, then you will see that every single day is happening on its own. It's predestined. And good and bad doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you should be a very satisfied and content person. When you look at your day, you are going to be amazed with the adventures. Doesn't matter if there is lockdown in the world or people are not supposed to step out. People in ascension will always live a free life. And this doesn't mean that you're going to become lawbreakers and you'll be like, protesting all the time. No. There is no need to protest. What are you going to protest? Everything is happening on its own. When you need to take a stand, you will take a stand. So you will be amazed with the contradiction sometimes. One day one contradiction will play, the other day another contradiction will play. And you would be forced to think that there is no thing as contradiction also. There is no such thing as good or bad. There is no such thing as this or that. All this puts us in the trap mode. All of these dualities, like when it's not healed. Having a yin and a yang, having a masculine and feminine energy to your own self and accepting it is what heals you. But when you don't accept it and you divide it, like some kind of a separation, puts you in a trap mode, wanting this or that mode, the usual good and bad mode, the trivial dark and light mode. Makes your head go faster, looking for disaster, not being a master. Leaving signs of altar. Where did you falter? It's all about the time, it's all about the dates, trapped inside the gates, looking for a mate, for the rat race. So people are looking for a mate just to satisfy the rat race image, right? If you really love someone, if you really have that unconditional love within you, if you have found the source of unconditional love, you don't want to get married or you don't want to get engaged only because you have to satisfy the public or the social image. So looking for a mate for the rat race, calling it the one, giving it a shape, making a modern cave. This isn't the white, this isn't the black. This isn't the good, this isn't the bad. Becoming so cold, stuck inside a mold, guarded by beliefs, looking for reliefs, living in the heads, feeling the same mess, staying with the crowd, blaming the world out. This is what happens during the runner-chaser dynamic. So later on when you heal, then you know that we are the humans, human beings. We are the travelers, children of the cave dwellers, came so far, doing inventions revolving around a star. The universe is like a candy jar. You pick up what you like, the beginning or the end, it doesn't matter because time can always bend. No need to run, no need to hide, no need for pain, no need for pride, no need to fear, no need to fight. Do you know that you are the world that you don't like? You are the suns and the moons of the bright days and the dark nights. You are the earth made up of the stars that you see in the black skies. You are the water floating in the clouds, white mystified. You could be the grains of a flower or the galaxy spread so far. You could be the insect singing lullaby or the baby with the blue, black or brown eyes. You're not so small, you're not so big, you're not the fall, you're not the spring, you're not revenge, you're not payback, you're not the maze, you're not the knack. So, thank you for the heights, for the morning lights, for days and nights, for mind-bending rhymes like this one. Thank you for the air and the purity, for all happy songs of reality. Thank you for the layers and the surety, for all wackiness, for morality. Duality to singularity and woken up humanity and woken up identities. Now in the twin flame journey, we are all here to awaken our identities or awaken via the identities. Whatever journey the identity has, the pain the identities have, that leads us to awakening and ascension, right? Now the masculines and the feminines also learn in this process. When they reach the final stages, they realize that everything that happened between them was also because of divine timing. Even that was predestined. Like they did not understand each other that well. They took time to learn, about each other. Then some of the masculines and feminines also realize that they really enjoy their own company the most. They do not want to give up on what they have found after being in separation or after surrendering. They realize that this is probably what was being sent for them by the universe. But they had no idea and they were running away from it because there were many other things that were painful, that were very troublesome, that had tortured their soul, tortured their hearts and minds, and they lived in a lot of pain. So they thought that being alone, being without someone is going to be a very scary thing. It's going to be a very horrible thing. So only because they are forced into separation. Somehow this separation comes to the feminine, like as if she had no option. But when she realizes, when she starts ascending the feminine, now feminine can be man, can be woman, so I'm just saying she, just for easier communication. When the feminine realizes, or the mother energy is awakened in her, she realizes that this is the best thing that could have happened to her, and then she doesn't want to give it up. She knows that if she's going to fall back into the worldly ways, she might have to give it up. So there is also a time frame where they need to harmonize, or she needs to become more bold and courageous, and she needs to be very focused about a mission. Mission work is something that will become a very natural part of her. She won't be thinking about what to do without the masculine, how am I going to manage this and that. And that's the reason why she gets his respect also eventually, because he sees that she's not doing this with a man or with some other people. She's doing it all by herself. And obviously she is able to do it because she has awakened something within her. Some energy, something. Now with time he will also understand. So there is a time frame initially when a lot of people think that masculines are very happy. Probably they are also. When they go away from her, they cannot take all the drama or the intensity or everything else. So they choose a certain lifestyle. But when she ascends, they realize that this particular lifestyle that they have chosen, that's not meant for them because they are not happy in it. They are not really enjoying it. And not only that, they sort of see the true faces of everyone around them, their weaknesses, their insecurities, their lies, their masks are opened. So the masculine energy, be it in a man or a woman, doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter in Twinflame journey. Then if it's a woman, she wants to go back to the man who has the feminine energy and she wants to apologize to him, she wants to say sorry to him. But she will only go back to him when she will see that he has become a brilliant person. The identity is no longer how it used to be, or she really feels very proud of him, and vice versa, vice versa. So I tell all the divine feminines, if they are man or woman doesn't matter, because in my work, contrary to popular belief, even I found out many of the things after I got completely into it, completely submerged into it. And I started meeting people live and in action, and they would tell me that I feel this and I feel that, and they've done all the things that a chaser would do, and they're feeling exactly how the chaser feels. So everything is the same. And it doesn't matter to what level the relationship had gone to. Some of them were engaged, some of them were married, some of them just met online. I don't think that even sexuality plays any role in it. There was a time when I used to think that, of course, after watching other people's content, I used to think that, maybe sexuality has to play some role in these two people. But I realized no. Even if they have consummated once, it's more than enough. And even if they haven't at all, even if they have not, gotten intimate, or they've, exchanged the sacral energy, still this will happen. Still they will go through this process, because they don't touch each other via bodily needs. They touch each other via unconditional love that they feel for each other. It is the soul that gets attracted to each other. Okay? So they understand divine timing, but here it's the divine masculine who is understanding the concept of divine timing, and it is really surprising him and shocking him and making him feel so many things at the same time, because he's no longer upset or angry with the feminine. He has forgiven her, and he really thinks that, why did I even misunderstand her? Back then, certain situations played out in his life in such a way, or certain experiences happened in such a way that he then realizes that it was for the best, maybe, because now he is in love with her like permanently. Now it's like nothing is going to come in the way. Like if you read about Shiva and Parvati, and I had recently said this to someone, I don't know who, but I did speak about it to somebody, that even after Shiva and Parvati got married, so that they had the union once Parvati went into deep inner work, and he had rejected her before that. So after she does inner work and Shiva goes back to her, he says, I want to marry you and I love you. and they both get married, and now they're living in the Himalayas and they're living in the Kailash Parvat. And even after that, Shiva goes away. Even after marriage, even after union, he goes away. For many years he goes away. And he is again meditating alone by himself. And during that time, Parvati is busy with her mission work. And that's the time when she, creates Ganesh from genetic engineering, because Ganesh wasn't born biologically. He was born via her miraculous powers. So in future, feminines would be able to do that. There would soon be a time when women would not have to get pregnant biologically and then give birth. They can give birth without that also. And that time you can already see it happening. Many people are opting for those methods of giving birth. So divine timing is very important. Those of you, sometimes you get really upset, because I know there are many people online who take this for granted. I've been told by people that somebody, they asked for a reading and that person replied to them after 7 months or 8 months. Or they just gave something on the email after such a long wait. And I felt really bad about it, because we also say, this thing that sometimes the readings get delayed, or there is information that gets delayed on its own. There is a perfect timing for everything. And this I learned when my father had passed over to the other dimension. I realized how important even the time of death is, even the time of birth is. All of these things are very important for the soul's journey. Dying at a certain time can impact where the soul goes in afterlife. So these things are very, very important. And in twin flame journey, you got to be very patient. So I tell people that if, your reading is not happening, say you spoke to me today and it's been a week or it's been 15 days, and despite, because I live in a different time zone, and there are many people who, some of them live in GMT, some of them in some other time zone in America and other countries in Europe. So some of them get readings very fast. Like today they take the reading and they get it in 2 days or 3 days. And I have noticed it myself. So it's very bizarre. And that's why I'm giving this example. And there are some people with whom I'm trying to do a reading for them and they get very busy. They tell me, oh, I'm so sorry I had to go somewhere. Oh, I'm so sorry I have to cancel it. And I'm like, no problem, I'll reschedule it. In some cases, they are waiting, but it's not happening. Something or the other happens and the reading gets delayed by a day or two or maybe a few more days. Some people just cannot think of questions. When I tell them to send me the questions, they take time in just writing the questions only. Why is this happening? Because there's a perfect time for everything. And this I have realized more and more by interacting to so many of you personally. Once I remember there was a reading and this girl, I don't remember who it was, but I clearly remember the scenario. This girl had some question and she asked me for a reading, and then reading could not happen. She had to go away somewhere. She had to travel somewhere. And during the travel time, something happened to her, which changed all the questions and all the emotion she had. And when she came back and she said, this is what happened, so I would like to ask this question now. I said, okay, no problem. Let's change the question. So imagine if she would have done the reading a week before the time we spoke, maybe she would not have received the answers that the universe wanted her to hear. And after 1 week, she was ready. She was prepared by the universe for the reading, for the perfect reading or the perfect answer, perfect solution, I would say. So I'm not the person who's actually taking any credit for this. I would like to say that it's all happening on its own. We're just a medium. We are just a servant. That's it. We are just doing a job, like how all servants have a job to the boss. We are reporting to the boss, or the boss, in this case, the boss can do whatever they want. They decide and they know the best. That is the thing. That is the beauty of surrender. And when you actually see things happening in front of you, like in the morning time, one day I saw that one of my dog had, the phone was on the bed and he was lying on the bed. After 2 hours when I came back, he had chewed the phone completely. A phone, imagine. Then I went to the shop and I gave the phone to the person who had to fix it. And throughout my way, I was very angry about it. I was like, what the hell has he done? It's such an expensive phone. Now how am I going to work without the phone and this and that? And I was very angry. But and he asked me for some time. He said, I need this time or that time. And in the meantime, when the meeting, the collection of the phone had to happen, behind, when I was not at home or at my workplace, certain events took place which were really good for me. And the best thing was, why it proved to be good was because I was not present over there. If I was present over there, that thing would not have happened so seamlessly. My presence would have become a hindrance. Only because I had to collect the phone, only because all of those things happened, I had to be away during that time. And when I came back, I found out that all the people who were, basically involved in it, they told me that this happened, that happened. And I was like, oh my God, had he not chewed my phone, had he not destroyed my phone, this would not have happened. So this is one of those examples on a daily basis, I'm not kidding about this or I'm not exaggerating it. On a daily basis, life is literally like an adventure. One moment you might feel that this is not good for you at all, and then later on you see that this was indeed a blessing. And even those emotions that you feel, the anger, sometimes we feel, people say you should not do this, you should not say that. And sometimes I feel if you are in a natural state, if you have already surrendered to God, then why do you even care what you say or what you do? That is how you do karma yoga also. If you really want to ascend in your journey, then all of the actions, you cannot think what is a good action, what is a bad action, what is my benefit. Because some people do good karmas only because they want to have a collection of good karmas so that they will go to heaven or they will go to whatever, a higher dimension, or they'll enjoy. That is actually opposite of doing good karma, because you're planning, you're manipulating the karmas. So best thing to do is just let it be, because maybe you are thinking on purpose that by doing this I'm doing good for someone. You could actually be harming them, and then you would be like, then what am I supposed to do? You're not supposed to do anything. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to do anything. You're just supposed to observe. And this is such a difficult thing for many people to do, because their whole lives they have been trained to act in a certain way, to behave in a certain way. They are programmed to be a certain way. All you have to do is just be. Just be. Just be who you are. Don't think about it. Just be who you are. Just be. So both the feminine and masculine are learning these lessons via experiences. They can only learn this lesson when they are more aware. They are practicing mind awareness. They are observing. They are doing focused attention all the time. Initially, when you surrender, you see this pattern. It takes time for you to notice this pattern, but when you are deep into it, you will see it every day, literally every day, maybe more than once, maybe more than twice, thrice in one day also. It's very, very, very euphoric, and it's like you get epiphanies upon epiphanies, and slowly you get used to that also. Then you realize that, okay, this is just a part of how everything is going to be, and then you don't get shocked or you don't get excited or you don't get surprised by anything. But it's obviously beautiful to see how a bad situation can be a blessing. That's the place where the beauty is actually. So thank you so much for being here with me. One love and peace out.